Hello and welcome to the All In Poker podcast. I'm your host, Adam Wengro, and we are back after a month off of podcasts. We are finally back in the game. We had the Goliath at the end of last month into the beginning of August. And since then, life has been a bit carnage. I've been on holiday, I've had a week in Spain, and I've been doing some other bits, all poker related, and also on the 23rd of August, I hosted the BPS Carnival, the British Poker Series Carnival final day. So it's all been a bit hectic. So I can only apologise for the delay in getting another episode out to you. But we're back. And of course, we always have a guest. And tonight's guest, or today's guest, depending on what time, or this morning's guest, depending on what time you're listening, is Martyn from the Royal Sharks poker team. Now, the Royal Sharks, they host pub leagues across the UK, and Martyn's going to be talking to us about his journey and where he's come from, what the Royal Sharks is all about, what they're doing, and their plans for the future. So, without further ado, let's go and meet our guest, Martyn. Martyn, thanks for joining me and coming on the podcast. How are you today?
Yeah, very good. Thank you very much. Thank you very much for having me on the podcast. Appreciate it.
Not a problem at all. Obviously, we brought you on here, as I can see, and everyone can see in the background, Royal Sharks Poker, and you're even repping on the shirt as well. Is that right?
Exactly right. Evolution of a poker player always gets a lot of laughs at the poker table because we like to see whereabouts everyone's ranked. So obviously, fish, donkey, normal player, and then the shark. So
Beautiful,
yeah,
very nice.
quite fitting when sitting at the table.
Love that. That's excellent. But yeah, I wanted to just talk to you about obviously the Royal Sharks, but also about yourself and how you've come to be in the position you are in now. And am I right to say you've created the whole Royal Sharks poker idea? It's all stemmed from you.
Yeah, that's it. Yeah, so all created up. It's kind of like it's had a few stages. I guess we'll get into it a little bit later on as to how it all sort of built up. But yeah, all founded, created by me, but mostly sort of inputted from a lot of players and also venues as well. That's helped sort of shape it into what it is now, and hopefully what will continue to shape it going forward.
Brilliant. So yeah, well, I mean, tell me about yourself then. So, how long have you been playing poker for?
Oh, a while. I would say probably since about 2006. Sort of me and a few mates watching a few films, watching the sort of poker games there, trying to learn it through watching films, and started off having a few home games, messing about, no money involved, just sort of general playing around. And then I didn't really take it seriously until I went to uni, which would have been around about sort of 2008. There was a Riley's near where I was studying, which was in Stafford, and they had a sort of £10 tournament going on down there, and so when it went along, played a little bit myself, got a couple of wins, and then yeah, pretty much from there got hooked with it. So after I finished university, sort of found a local game near me, a couple of pub games that was doing nice £3, £5 games, nothing too crazy, league games. Got into it that way.
Mm-hmm.
And then yeah, sort of got like a really good taste for meeting loads of people around pub poker, enjoying the league aspect of it, seeing where it could take me, but also I guess that's kind of where I started to develop this kind of attitude to wanting to try and improve things. So
Yeah.
the scene at the time was pretty good, but it was a very standard pay £3, get a set of chips. If you lost it, you were out, and then that's it. Which for a lot of people might have been, 20 minutes into the game. So
Yeah.
it's a very
Yeah.
short night for people, and it kind of missed to me, it missed the aspect of, I guess, why they were doing pub poker, which is they want to keep people in the venue, supporting the venue. So it made me want to go off, do my own sort of version of it in a pub near me, but running my own league, just sort of like trying it out, trying a few different things. And from there, we built up a few different ideas. So we started doing like food vouchers so that it would bring people back on a different night. We started doing drinks vouchers. We started like the pub that we were at, they had a quiz night. So people could win, free entry to the quiz. So,
Oh,
trying to
wow.
bring
Okay.
trying to kind of put prizes out there that meant that people weren't just coming for the one night of poker, but they were actually coming on another night and
Yeah.
another night and another night. And then that was me doing it just as a tournament director back sort of pre-COVID. And then sort of COVID hit, which obviously,
No, we don't talk about it.
I know, crucified the entire live poker scene for such a long period of time. And then once that sort of period got over, there was a venue near me that was looking to try and boost numbers, and that's it. I got back into doing the poker there. It started to grow quite rapidly. Like it was a very small pub, but we'd practically taken over the pub with about 4 tables of people playing.
Yeah.
The landlords there decided to move on, so we moved to another venue which had like the entire top floor, which was essentially like their function room, free to do what they needed to do. We grew and grew there. I would say we were getting sort of around about 40 players
Oh,
on a
wow.
regular basis, yeah, on a Thursday night, until eventually they um, they changed. They didn't want to just be a pub anymore. They wanted to turn into a restaurant and use the whole like top part of that restaurant
Mm.
for food. And then I got approached by a social club which has an incredible like a main hall, like theatre room, which they use for a lot of their shows. They'd heard sort of like what we'd been doing in terms of just Thursday night games, so we moved there. And then from there, I guess, is where this whole like Royal Sharks element really grew, because we'd now started getting sort of 40-45 players on a regular Thursday night.
Yeah.
I
Yeah.
was getting I was getting messages from other venues saying, how are you getting so many people? Like, what are you doing? What's making it so popular? And obviously, I told them a few things that we were doing, like the vouchers that we were doing and how we were structuring it. And then yeah, when it got to that point, I started to think, do you know what? There's probably something in it more than just doing it for a bit of fun, bit of downtime on a Thursday night. Actually, I thought I'll turn it into something where there's more of a league here that can be run across multiple pubs, so that lots of places can get involved, and we reduce it. And obviously, we're certainly not the only pub poker league out there, but we're trying to do something a bit different that
Hmm.
supports the pub, keeps it cheaper for them so that they can still make a lot of profit, but also builds up a lot more for the players, that they can get a bit more out of it. So
Hmm.
like a lot of the structures, I think we find people want the acknowledgement, the accolades in what they were doing, what they're achieving. And I think sometimes that can get a little bit lost from year to year. So
Yeah.
like, we know who wins it, we know who wins the game, great, they get the medal or they get the trophy, whatever. But then if you look back sort of 2 years from now, you probably wouldn't remember who won it 2 years ago, 3 years ago, and for a lot of the sort of local leagues.
Hmm.
Which is why we created this concept of a trophy cabinet, a virtual one. Everyone's got one on their profile, and they can build it up as they go along now.
Oh,
So
wow. Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
they've got collectibles, they get physical trophies, but they also get it all on their profile as well. And they can kind of create they can have these stats that travel with them wherever they play. So rather than it just be a case of every venue's got a league, and if that venue closes down for whatever reason, or moves on, those results are then lost. This is
Yeah.
something that sticks with a player the entire time that they've been playing. So
Oh, very good. And so in terms of timescales, then, when did you start the sort of the planning and when did you start the whole Royal Sharks Poker idea? When were you starting to do that?
well, we started off as it just being a club when we were at the Arches originally, which is Arches in the Neaton, and we were originally just a club that enjoyed what we were doing. We made up made up this logo, this concept, with a couple of friends, really really like briefly, just to kind of like have a club that we called our own. That was something like, okay, like this is going to be a membership thing that we're going to do. And it was literally just for this one venue, this one place that we could say, right, this is our sort of own little private space that we can play. um and that's kind of like how it all started. And then probably it must have been around sort of January last year where it really started to go right. Actually, this is something that I can turn into a business, and it's something that we can start trying to roll out for other venues.
Hmm.
And the first thing that we did was we got 4 local venues involved, to kickstart it. So four venues. I think we had around about 20 or 30 players that got involved in the first bit, and then from there, to fast forward to now, we've got 30 venues and almost 860 members now.
That's huge. That's
So yeah,
huge
it's gone.
in such a short space of time.
Yeah,
Um,
it's exploded. It's gone. Yeah, gone a lot quicker than I anticipated, and but I think I'd say we got lucky. I think we just identified an area where a lot of people were looking for something a little bit more,
mhm.
and that's the sort of just snowballed from there, really.
So, what and whilst you were sort of coming up with this idea, were you working full time elsewhere? What do you do for a living on the side?
Yeah,
Or
so I'm well, was and am currently still a software developer.
hmm.
So I kind of made this is again how I kind of got into it, because I made my own blind software, which was like a really good sort of way, because obviously there's loads of different things out there, but to have the features and the customization that you want, it's not always like so readily available. So I've made my own blind software that I was running and using on a Thursday night, and currently working to try and make it more available for everybody going forwards. But yeah, so software developer, as part of like an accountancy firm.
Hmm.
But yeah, just recently handed in my notice. Going to do the 1st of September will be my proper last day of doing
Wow.
an actual full-time job, and this on the side. This is now going to be my full-time focus now going forwards.
So it's really grown to the point now you can focus on it full time essentially.
Yeah, well, I think it's got to that point for me where I can see that there's a lot of interest out there. It's had such an incredible amount of support from. I mean, we started in the Need Turn, and so I can't thank like all the players and the people in the enough for how much they supported it, and allowed it to grow to what it is now. Um, but to see how far that has now travelled, and to see like the interest that it's getting, outside of the local community, has made me think actually there is really something there that is worth putting a lot more of my time into. And I don't know how this is going to go. I fingers crossed. I hope it goes well. But I'd rather not live in a regret that I think, well, actually, I'm sort of like spinning multiple plates here, and I'm only really like paying half attention to what's going on. I'd rather focus all my attention on this, grow something that's going to be amazing, and then yeah, see where it ends up, really.
It's really good, and say that the vast growth in such a short space of time is a really good sign, and I think you're probably um, making the right decision now, whilst you've grown so quickly that actually, yeah, if you put all your effort and experience and knowledge into it on a permanent basis, then I can definitely see over the next 12 months of you taking this on full time, there's going to be massive growth. It's inevitable, I think, that you keep on plucking away at this. It's really good sign, mate. Really good.
Yeah, well, we've certainly had, like I say, I've had a lot of good feedback from players, and I think we've got the room to. So bit of my development skills, along with a lot of people that I've sort of grown up with, and now we're putting a lot of work into this to make it something that we utilize people's feedback, and then we act on it, and then we produce something that's worth going forwards with. So this concept of the trophies that don't expire, the profiles that people can build up, the sponsorships and stuff. Like we're not, or I'm not setting out to just create another, what we call like a pub league. It's more of a case of actually creating something that will provide anybody that wants to get into poker a full sort of journey throughout, depending on how serious and how far they want to take it, all the way from doing poker lessons and teaching people how to play through the pub leagues that we're helping venues get set up, to allowing them to play casino games and experience casinos for the first time,
Yeah.
to winning sponsorships, to just a variety of things that are still to come, still to be sort of brought out and announced in the future of what we're working on. So
No, that's really good, mate. It's really exciting. Where is the furthest venue now from Nuneaton? So how far have you actually
oh,
gone?
I would have to give a shout out to Amber Sullivan on that one. She's the landlady of the Whittington Cat in Whitehaven, so they regularly travel a good 4.5 hours to come and play in the Nuneaton, considering they or Coventry, considering they're all the way up in sort of Whitehaven. So it's incredible. We've also got a venue all the way over in Swansea as well, so at the
Wow.
Swansea
Okay.
Jack. So we've got quite a few few like outlayers out there. Although we're obviously quite heavily based around sort of the Nuneaton, Coventry, Birmingham way, we are starting to branch out a lot more. So yeah, there's a good few available. And I think having that outreach now, where there is a few places sort of 3-4 hours away, I'm hoping we can get a few more sort of in between, and then we can start like creating more regional spots that mean that people aren't traveling quite as far to play those sort of end of season games.
I think that's exactly it. Is that the more people that start opening up venues, is that it then becomes like a bit of a cluster bomb. Really, is that you throw it out there in Swansea, for example, and before you know it, someone catches wind of it. They live in Cardiff. They want to open up something in Cardiff, and before you know it, you've got the whole of Wales covered. You're then down. So that's I can really see like that knock on effect happening. Um, and especially if you're offering that support, and given the fact that you are now going to be looking after this full time as well, that you are probably going to have more time to offer that type of support as well for anyone that's thinking about starting up their own venue, right?
Yeah, well, that's it. And I think with the way that the sort of league games work, so we run 13-week-long leagues. So each venue will have their own leaderboard, just as much as every player will get stats across the season, the month, the year, so they can kind of track it outside of venues as well. Um, but the way that we run the league is at the end of the 13 weeks, we do have a regional game, which we call a shiver, because shiver would be a group of sharks. So sort of naturally, we go quite heavy on the shark theme. Like there's no point in being called Raw Sharks Poker if we're not going to like fully invest
Yeah.
in sort of shark fin, all in fins that we've now brought out, and all the merch that we've got going on. So yeah, our leagues are called shiver leagues. And they run currently in the casino, which is held at the Coventry one. But that's because that's where sort of like the vast majority of the players are. And it is a bit of a chicken and egg where, like, yeah, I'd love to get another spot, sort of maybe up in like Manchester, which would be like sort of a good progression next. But obviously, to make that regional, that sort of chivalry work properly, you want to have like a good sort of 5 or 6 venues along with the players to make it worthwhile doing that location, that spot every 13 weeks. So yeah, we can get the venues, we can get another basis, and then hopefully we can start building up these spots all over the UK, and really sort of like take the offerings that we've got, increase them a lot more. So even now, like we sort of guarantee like 3K pot size for the players that come and play the Shiv League at the end of the season.
Hmm.
And they're all progressing to try and play for a £5,000 sponsorship at the end of the year.
Yep.
So the person that won it last year, he got to play in the Goliath this time round. He had multiple bullets at the main. He played the Joker's Wild. He played the All-In Events game. There's been so many tournaments that Jason Daniels, who won the sponsorship, has played, that he would never have entered by himself.
Yeah.
With his own money, his own bankroll to do that. And we want to obviously increase the amount of sponsorships that people are getting throughout the year.
Yeah.
So rather than it be just about one person winning it, multiple people can do it, and multiple people can enter these tournaments that they just wouldn't normally have the chance to do.
That's really good. And so, in terms of the other sort of benefits that you offer on the weekly games, how does it benefit the pubs themselves? What do you offer to them to get them on board?
And so for the venues, we help get their advertisements sorted. So a lot of the venues, what we find that when venues try and do sort of their own in-house leagues is they start off well. They try and get the word out through the local players, but people are always wanting something more than just the on the spot sort of maybe on the spot cash prizes
Hmm.
or whatever they get for playing on the individual nights. They want something further to play for. So we help sort of utilize Facebook and Instagram and our sort of existing membership to push the new venues that sign up to us.
Yep.
So we help them get the word out of their night. Obviously, a lot of venues, a lot of landlords, and a lot of the bar staff, they don't know about poker nights. So we help them learn about poker. We always go and help do their first game so they can understand how a tournament runs, what to expect, how to get that set up for their players. We'll try and get a couple of local players involved in running those tournaments on a weekly basis as well. So a couple of people to act as a tournament director. Our tournament directors get quite a good incentive from our side because they get to play all of our chivalries for free. So because they most of them are doing it on a volunteer basis, so they will get to come to the casino games, qualify because a lot of the players they have to qualify for it.
Yep.
So the tournament directors will get automatic qualification. They'll get free entry to come and see their best players play these chivalries. And then they also get in a separate game where they can come and do like a tournament director last longer. So we raise some funds through via raffle, and the tournament director that lasts the longest of this tournament, they then win a prize through that as well. So it's all free for them to get involved in, but it's just a way of saying thanks for them winning these games on a weekly basis. So obviously, from a venue's point of view, they pay a subscription, so they can either do £100 a month, which gives them the equipment that they need to start running these tournaments straight away. And with that, they get the advertisement. We help them with the league structure. They can sign onto our website, submit scores every week, and that provides the leaderboard. Or they can pay for the season outright, which is 250. So usually works out around about £19 a week for them to run these games. And most of our venues are getting around about 50 to 20 players on a regular basis.
Yeah.
So they're getting a good amount of footfall and hopefully getting the wet sales, food sales, etc., to make that money back in profits, along with sort of a bit more support. And then we advise them on like how we sort of started doing it locally, which is giving away vouchers for the quiz night that might also be running, or the sort of bingo nights and stuff, so that it encourages people to keep supporting that venue long term rather than just as once a week.
The repeat custom is obviously what they want, isn't it? And I think for £19 a week, if you said that to a pub that they had to pay £19 a week to get 10 to 30 extra people through the door on one night, that are all going to spend money on drinks and potentially food,
Yeah,
I think they'd all jump at that chance, wouldn't they? So
it's incredible good value for them. And I think even the pubs that are maybe a little bit more sort of maybe out in the country, or they're a little bit less populated, they're not in city centres, they're even if they're getting sort of 10, 15 players on the sort of lowest scale, it's the adverse effect of what they achieve by running a poker night. So no one really wants a quiet or empty pub on a weekday. So if poker's running in there on their quiet Thursday night, for example, they've got poker running in the first couple of windows of the pub. It looks busy. People are encouraged to go in, see what the atmosphere is like. It creates a much nicer place to go and have a drink, even if you're not interested in poker. There's something else going on in the pub, and it brings people in. And then for those pubs to then be able to sort of put out their sort of weekly schedules next to the poker table so that people can see what else is going on, that works really well. And what also works really well is venues that have function rooms, because a lot of the venues that we run poker nights in, they'll put the poker in a function room, and then that advertises that space, and then that leads to more bookings of that function room because people probably didn't even know that function room existed. I know that when we first started off at the Arches, I lived like 10 minutes away from the Arches, and I didn't even know that there was a function room on top of this pub that I'd been in 3, 4, 5 times in
wow,
a month before.
yeah.
Until until they showed me it and said, "Oh, why don't you run it in here?" And I was like, "Oh my god!" The space was incredible. So yeah, so the following bookings that they got for the functions after that was just incredible. Like, it certainly increased the sales, and it's just a really good way of doing additional marketing, even if that £19 a week,
Mm.
you should be able to make a profit on that easily, but it's the knock-on effect of having it as well that I think some people don't realize.
I think when you're also looking at cost of advertisement now, and the fact that yes, okay, they're paying £19 a week, but you do all the promotional advertising as well for the poker. So you're even if people aren't wanting to play poker, but you just talking about their pub or naming their pub wherever it is, might go, oh, I didn't know there's a pub there, or I didn't know. But you might for £19 a week, people will pay that in Facebook ads easily
Yeah.
alone, and yeah, I think when you look at all the benefits it adds, I think it's a really good concept. Do you find yourself going into various pubs on a regular basis to have a pint and use that as a business meeting
Yeah.
and try and chat to landlords? How do you
It,
how do you
it's
promote
now
it?
become a bit of a knock-on effect now, actually, much to my sort of wife's annoyance, I guess. Like, we'll go into a pub or a venue for a drink, not for a business there, but purely just to sort of like have a bit of downtime. And I must admit, I am starting to look around, going, "Oh, that'd be a really good space for a poker game. I imagine getting a few tables around here. Look at that TV. Look at that spot around there." Like, it does it does become a bit of like one of the things that I start to look at when I go into a venue now. I try not to do the whole like, right, okay, yeah, I'm gonna go and speak to them, I'm gonna get a poker night as soon as we get into a new venue. But it is something that is always like sort of on the back of my mind
Mm,
when I do go into a different venue. But I guess I just got my ear to the ground of when I hear of a venue that wants to try and increase that sort of footfall, or they've got a quiet night, they don't really know what to do with it, or they're looking for something. Because you know I'm not. I'm probably weird thing to say, but I'm not a salesperson at heart. Like, I didn't set out this initially to go, right, this is going to be an amazing business and I'm going to make lots of money off it. It was actually just a case of creating something that's going to provide a game for more people,
yeah,
which is why we've got so many different levels to this, from people that have never played before, all the way to people that want to take it seriously and play casino games. So it's a case of, for me now, my challenge really is to try and find or connect with landlords, landladies, people that want to that have a venue that want to try and populate it, and say like, right, reach out to me, like, or let me know, like, come create a dialogue where we can actually start talking about how we can get this in your venue and how it can start sort of helping that venue increase the sales on a weekly basis now. Because yeah, I'm not bought really for the whole pushy side of it, trying to get it in everywhere. It's just I'm trying to find the places that wanna support it, because ultimately the places that do the best for poker are the venues that get behind it.
yeah,
Not the whole like, yeah, let's create a poker night. We'll stick them in that corner and we'll forget about it. They don't do as well. The venues that get behind it, and they go, right, okay, what are we going to do? Like, what can we do to make this an enjoyable experience for everybody?
yeah.
Those are the ones that create the best communities of people, and the ones that really thrive with it.
And I think I guess for you as well that your player pool now is growing, and of course word of mouth comes with that. Now I'm sure that the players that are playing don't just go into the pub that they play poker in. They'll be out and about, and they'll go to different venues and pubs throughout their life in their social aspects, and even they might pick up on the fact that, oh, this is quite quiet in here. They could do with a poker night, or oh, this looks like a great venue that might do really well. Um, and even they're chatting to the bar staff or the landlord could help you out in the long run. Like, for example, for me, I was just kind of thinking that, well, yeah, if I'm next in a pub that's quite quiet, and we've got a few round rural Norfolk that are quite quiet, that actually I would probably end up mentioning, oh, you should do something. You should have a pub. You should have a poker night. In the pub. Like, why don't you do this? So how would a pub reach out to you? Um, is it a case that they go onto the website? Do you need someone to pass them
Yeah,
the number?
Yeah, so obviously we're all set up on a few of the channels now. So we've got Instagram, which is at Royal Sharks Poker. We're on Facebook, which is also Royal Sharks Poker as the extension. Our website is also royalsharkspoker.co.uk. So there's a few different avenues in which you can reach like a page where we can see sort of like some more contact information. We do have a sales email address, which is sales@royalsharkspoker.co.uk. But again, venues can sign up through the website and submit their venue to be reviewed and sort of like some extra details of the weekdays that they're thinking about doing it. Players can use that website to see what's around, like the special events that we're putting on. And any existing members and anybody that wants to create an account, like yourself or anybody that
Oh,
knows of a
I've just done
venue.
that. I have just created an account.
Brilliant.
As we've been sat here, I have created an account. I'm in. I'm in.
Wicked. Yeah, well, the good thing is as well, like I say, when we say like we're always growing, like genuinely we're not making it up as we go along, but we're basically building on this as we get more feedback. So one of the first sort of chunk of feedback that we got was people were like, look, how do I refer a venue? How do I refer a player? So every person now that creates an account, when they go to their dashboard, they will see they have their own personal referral code, which they can, and that also then generates a referral link, which they can then pass on to a venue or a player.
Okay.
And what that then does is the venue will get 33% off their first purchase,
Mm-hmm.
and a player will get 33% off when they become a member. So we offer a player membership, which is £15 for the year. And that allows them to sort of qualify for our members only games,
Mm-hmm.
which means obviously if they've been referred by somebody else, it knocks it down to a tenner for them. For a venue signing on, obviously if they're signing on for a season, 250 quid, they're getting 33% off that from a referral.
Yeah.
And the individual person that's referring them their referrals will add it up on their profile, displayed to everybody so everyone can see how great they are with the referrals. And we're currently building a shop as part of the website. So the merch, the t-shirts, everything that you see that I'm wearing, and tables and ship sets and all this, that'll all be going on the shop soon. And players that do referrals, they can earn points which they can then spend in the shop. So essentially
Wow. Okay.
there's a currency there which they can get from referring people, which then they can then use to either buy equipment for themselves, buy merch. We're hoping to be able to have a section on there where they can like sort of buy tickets into tournaments as well. So there's a reason for them to help us get referrals, but also get rewarded for doing it themselves as well.
Brilliant. I am just on the web. I'm on the website as we speak, and as I say, as we've been doing this, I did sign up, as well at the same time. But I can see you're second in the leaderboard out of all the players on here.
Look, honestly, it's an embarrassing thing for me to talk about because I genuinely just go and have fun, but it's also a bit of pride that I don't like to just throw games. I really want to play. I also play quite a lot because I'm usually either myself and my friends Aaron and Susan, who have been amazing helping me get all this set up. Um, we'll be there whenever venue starts a game. You
Yeah.
know, whether whatever day it is, doesn't matter where it is. We'll travel. Like we travel to Swansea. We'll travel to go and see this venue's first game, get them set up and started. Which obviously adverse effect is we're playing a lot of games as part of
Yeah.
that. It's the leagues as well are based around, and one of the things that I think people don't realize is we structure our league points based on the amount of players that you play against as well.
Yep.
So a lot of venues, a lot of leagues out there, they have a very preset scoring. So regardless of how many people you play against, you know, maybe like first place might just be 100 points throughout the entire thing, regardless of whether you're playing against 4 people or 40. Our league is done it a little bit different. You're always playing for at least 80 points in a venue,
Mm-hmm.
100 points globally, so overall in terms of like all leaderboards. But you can play all the way up to 200 points if you've got 40 or more players to play against, because
Yep.
obviously the more players that you're playing against, the more of an achievement it is to get up those rankings. So I suppose I'm quite blessed that around the Neaton we do have a couple of venues which are hitting sort of those 40 player a week marks. So going there and doing sort of well, even if I'm not winning, getting sort of like top 5 there is quite good for the points in comparison to say maybe like 100 points or 80 points from other venues.
Mm-hmm.
But that being said, you still gotta be consistent. So yeah, and I think from pub poker side of things, I think I do all right. But I think it's because I know a lot of the players. It's easier when you know that you've played with people for a long time, like the people that you can bluff, the people that you can to avoid when they're raising it on the
Yeah.
hands.
Well, absolutely. And do you know what is really good to see is obviously you can look at how many games every player's played. You can check the stats of your opponents. You can see who's doing really well, regardless of the venue. But I mean, it's amazing to see on here as I'm scrolling the amount of players that have played over 100 games already
Yeah.
in your short. It's absolutely fantastic. So you obviously got a lot of support already. With this, and I'm still scrolling at the moment. I'm down to 401 players on this leaderboard now. Am I right? So is that everyone that's now played a game? Is that 401 players?
Yeah, so we the website's split up into a couple of different leaderboards because again, this is derived by sitting in a lot of pub games, listening to players argue or debate with each other about who's better at poker and how you judge that as well. So obviously, some will say like, "Oh well, yeah, I've won the most." Yeah, but that's not. Then you go out first on another tournament, so it's not consistent. But I've consistently got final tables, so there's constant back and forth about people wanting to sort of like show what's better. We've just put it all on there for people to see. So we've got a global leaderboard, which is a never resetting, constant, ongoing leaderboard that tracks everybody's stats, the amount of games they've played, the amount of wins that they've got, the points that they've earned through doing that, and their overall sort of rating based on the games that they've played divided by the points that they've got. So that kind of like gives the rating. So that is everybody's game and how they're ranked overall. We then use our yearly leaderboards to see who's obviously doing the best throughout the year. We award a Player of the Year as a trophy as well, physical trophy and personal trophy that they get on their cabinet, so people can track obviously how they're doing in a year. But we've also got who's got the most wins in a year, who's got the most points in a year, who's got the so we have like the Player of the Year, so who's got the best ranking overall. But then that's also then broken down into each individual season as well. So people can say like, even if they've not done like or played very well, like at all in the first half of the year, they've still got the individual seasons to play for as well. So they can win Player of the Season, suddenly coming onto the scene, playing the 13-week season and being the best there. They've not missed out on anything because of that.
And that's exactly what I was just about to mention and touch on there, because I've just seen I'm on Valentin or Perez, his nickname is. I'm on his profile
Yeah.
now, and there's his in the trophy cabinet. He's got Player of the Season. It's brilliant.
Yeah, so that's it. He got Player of the Season because after the end of the season, he was there. He got the best ranking. If you have a look at a couple of people's profiles that come to mind are Ethan Muse. He is absolutely killing it on the poker scene at the minute. He plays a lot of different venues. He plays a lot of casino games, and you can probably see he has got an incredible trophy cabinet.
His cabinet. I mean, he's yet 369. He's got 12 trophies already. I mean, he's playing a lot of games. Don't get me wrong, but you should have a word with him though. He hasn't referred anyone.
Yeah, well, this is it. I mean, the referral thing is quite new, actually. To be fair, I mean, these players are people have referred them before. We've only just started tracking it over sort of the last sort of month or so. But yeah, we tried to come up with something that allows people to find something that they want to focus on. Whether somebody's trophy driven, whether somebody just wants to help like build a community. We've got quite fun like winners jackets. So Tracy Savage, she's got a lovely profile. So she's built up a really good trophy cabinet so far. So when a player manages to get to our Shiver League at the end of the season and they win a Shiver League, so that is a casino run game where they may be facing up to 200 players, so 170, 200 player game. If they win that, they get a lovely crystal trophy on the day, and they'll get it on their profile as well. And they get to pick a winner's jacket. So this winner's jacket has become quite iconic for us, where they can pick the color of the sleeves. So the standard is usually like gold sleeves. They'll get their name or their nickname embroidered on the jacket. They'll get the fin of the season. So every season that we run is themed around a different shark as well. So
Okay, yeah.
this current year, we've got the tiger shark as season 1. We've got the great white shark as season 2, hammerhead shark as season 3, and the whale shark as season 4. So
Yeah,
each of those
yeah.
have a different fin color. They'll get the fin color of which season they win it on. And then they'll get the sort of Royal Sharks branding as well on it. And then we run special games just for the people that have won these jackets, and they become like sort of our sort of iconic person within the community of somebody that's achieved that, got the jacket, played the games, and it's something that's going to be, again, something that's going to be with them their entire time.
And
They can keep collecting it because they haven't. Once they've won one season, that doesn't mean they can't go on to win another season, collect another fin, build up on that jacket. So it's not just a limited thing. It's something they can keep building all the way through.
and
And
that's
again,
the
just another
Jaws of
thing.
the jackets, is that right? Jaws
That
of the
was it, yeah. So
yeah.
we did a Jaws of the Jackets thing where we invited the four season winners plus our sponsored player, so our 5 jacket winners of the year. And the players came and had a go at trying to take them out. They had a bounty on their heads, and it was a really good day for sort of celebrating these players that have done really well. And then obviously every year we're just going to build on that. We're going to get more jacket winners, more bigger games, and again, it's just another sort of branch out to it all. We're looking at sort of building on that, so trying to get some sort of like a group of players that can take to sort of like casino level games as well. So sort of like playing at that. We had a fantastic turnout for the Goliath this year. It was just incredible.
I
Like
saw you
it
all
was great.
there. All the branding was there, everything. Yeah, it's great.
Well, we again, so because we were like when last year for the Goliath, we were in the really early stages of making something of this business. So, and even then, we had around about sort of 8 to 10 of us that decided, right, we're going to go play the Goliath. We're going to enjoy it, and see how far, how many people we can talk about it as much as we can. Myself playing the Goliath for the first time was back in, I think it was probably back in 2011 that the first time I ever played the Goliath. I think they had around 1,700 runners back then.
Yeah.
I came 62nd. I was quite new to sort of. That was not long after I got back from uni. Tried it out, and I remember sitting at a table with somebody that obviously was well known in the community back then. I didn't know who they were, but lots of people had come to say hello, and I was like, God, I don't know who that person was. I didn't really know much about like the players on the scene back then, but I enjoyed obviously my time playing the Goliath. Now, fast forward to last year when a few of us turned up, I obviously knew a lot more. I spent a lot more time looking around sort of players, poker players on the scene and things like that. And I got sat sort of 2 seats away from a friend who was also sort of wearing the Royal Sharks gear. So we had quite a good fun table to start off with. And I remember Brandon Shields had come and sat right next to, like in between us. So he'd played a few hands on there with one of his bullets to the Goliath, and that was amazing to sit and play a few hands with him.
Yeah.
And then the last day of playing, I managed to get into the turbo, late regged into the turbo. I think I managed to play like one hand on a table with Katie Swift before going out, terribly with ace queen suited and ran into pocket tens and missed everything.
Oh,
But
no.
even taken away from that day and thinking, oh my god, I got to sit next to Brandon, I got to like briefly sit at a table with Katie, like felt like, oh my god, this is something I never really imagined happening. And then this year we decided to do it so much bigger, really go for it. I think we had probably around 30, 35 of us there, all wearing patches, branded and stuff.
Yeah.
And just it was like a completely different level of experience. Like we had Amber Sullivan sort of helping sort of represent us, and we sponsored her to play some of the events. She was good friends with Katie, so Katie come and put on the shark hat, and to go from being excited to sit at a table for one hand to literally like having a lengthy chat with her and about the sharks and her putting on some of the gear and stuff, and then like meeting yourself, Leanne, and Alex, and then like playing like a tournament and sitting next to like Alex Todd, who previously won the Goliath as well. It's
Mm.
just
Yeah.
the whole thing is just mind blowing to think of how much, like for myself, but for others, that poker's come on is has been incredible. And I think that has helped me think, right, I got a lot of feedback from a lot of people who had played the Goliath, who would have played the Goliath, and were
Mm.
so excited to be in those situations and play with these players that they'd seen on Instagram, watched on feeds, watched on the like live feeds and stuff before, and they were excited about it. And the whole experience when you're doing it with a group of you is just it it just amplifies the whole thing when you've got a group of people you can kind of like support each other, be there for the bad beat stories and stuff. It's something that we really really want to focus on
Yeah.
going forwards, building that bigger and bigger each year.
No, that's amazing, mate. It was really good. And obviously, so we're close to now you taking this on full time. What is like? So the first week you finish your job, you're now full time invested in sharks. What is the plan first week? What are you doing?
Yeah, that's a good one. I'm still building up my list of like tasks that I need to get through. I know there are so many things that I need to focus on. Like, obviously, I want to build the league as much as possible. I want to try and get it into as many venues out there as I possibly can. The thing that I need to focus on sooner rather than later is I'd love to hear from people that are interested in doing collaborations and getting the word out there, because say we are relatively new. Like it's only been going for just over a year, so
Hmm.
and I'm always meeting new people, and I want to try and sort of help work with people, get new communities on board. The further I can take this and the bigger that we can build this, the better rewards that we can put out there for people, the bigger the community can get. So my plan is to try and keep up with the scale now. So
Hmm.
keep putting stuff into the website, like say building the shop, because a lot of people after the Goliath were asking me about where can I buy a t-shirt, where can I buy a hat, where can I get these chipsets and stuff. So priority is make sure that there's a place that they can order this stuff, and I can keep up with the stock. Um, get it out to venues, build the league, promote those, and just just try and get the word out as much as possible. And any help, any referrals, or anybody that wants to get involved and do that, I'd love to have a chat and see where we can take it and how quickly we can take it across as far as the UK as that we can go, really.
And that was going to be my next. So this can be set up anywhere across the UK. You're open to opening it down the south, in even as far as like Brighton, Plymouth, anywhere, and in East Anglia. Where I am in Norwich. North, you'd be happy to set up anywhere, really.
Yeah, so I think the reason why I want to like get this as far afield as possible is because there is venues out there. There's people out there that have been getting in touch with me and saying, "Look, I've seen what you're doing. I love it. I love everything that's going on about it, but there's not a local pub near me that's running that league." And I say, "Okay, great. Well, let's help them get set up. Like, it doesn't have to be a venue that knows of 10 people that are already wanting to run a game. Like I've had venues approach me with nobody come into the pub that's interested in poker, and nobody in the venue knows how to play poker. And it is a bit daunting sometimes for a venue to think, right, okay, we're just going to go into it and do this and see how it grows. But that's what we're here for. Like, we will go, we'll speak to the staff, even if it's on a separate night, we'll go and train them all up on how to play poker so they can have a fun game with us and just the staff, and learn the game there. And then from there we can build it, and we can start finding the local players that want to come down for a game, and we can find out what weekday is going to work best for the venue, because not every time that you think, right, okay, we're going to do it on a Wednesday night, but sometimes not everyone's free on a Wednesday night, so we can move it to a Thursday. We've got loads of flexibility to help a venue find the best night for it, build up the local interest, and turn it into something that's going to work long term for them, and work with them to make this happen. And it is working. It's working for a lot of venues. It's doing really good. And the thing that for me next is to try and find people that will be interested in being sort of local ambassadors to help build this up as well. So obviously, I'm one person. This is something that we've got to try and build up together. Amber Sullivan is the first of those people that we've spoke to about this, and she's coming on board with the Sharks. Now to help start building that up in Whitehaven. So from her aspect, she's going to start speaking to the venue. She obviously already runs one herself. She's managed to get the Candlestick on board, which are also in Whitehaven. And the idea for her is that she's going to get more and more venues up in her region that can build up and do something and help them on a sort of more local basis than I would be able to do traveling 4 hours up there. So the more people that are interested in taking on that sort of role, we can have a conversation. We can say like what that involves, how that is going to build up long term for Royal Sharks Poker, because I want to make sure that venues have that personal touch, that they can have somebody to reach out to that is local, that can help them out and do that. Because once the venue's happy with how it all goes and they've got a local tournament director, if they've then also got somebody that is like a regional sort of ambassador for it as well, that can help with any issues and help those training, that is something that creates like quite a good pathway for them, and they can feel like it's a bit more of a personal touch rather than something that they just go, right, here's the league, this is what you do, good luck, and that's it. They never hear from us again. That's not what we're about. We're about wanting to keep that community going. And so my idea now is trying to find venues all over the UK, and also people that can help get involved as part of the team to build this up.
And I'm sure once you get the word out there, there's going to be lots of people that want to potentially do that, and say I will be pushing people to definitely if they're interested in doing something like that, 100%, I'll be pushing them towards you and getting in contact.
You've got your account now, right? So you've got your referral code.
I'll be sending my referral link will be out everywhere. I promise you. I guess the only other thing for me that I wanted just to touch on and ask, and that perhaps landlords and people that might hear this that are in the pub trade, is where do you stand with any licensing? How does that work? How do you offer the reassurance on gambling and those regulations that are put in place?
Yeah, well, again, this will come down to obviously the venues and their individual licensing that they've got in terms of sort of like gambling and bandits. So, the very simplistic way of doing this is people can and often do have free leagues, so they can just come play just for the points. They don't have to buy in any money, and then that is just a simple free league where they just play for the points and the structure in the league and the qualification as part of that. That would be all covered within their sort of normal alcohol and gambling license within that. They can also do sort of £3, £5 buy-in games, as long as it's limited to the £3, £5 per person. And most pubs, even without an additional gambling license, will allow them to gamble up to £100 pot for the night. So any venue can sort of get 20 players buying in for a £5. They get a stack of chips. A few of our venues, they'll do like a free rebuy. So essentially they bought in for a £5, they get a stack of chips. If they lose it, they can get another stack completely free. So it means that they get 2 chances at the tournament. It's not cost them anything more than the £5 for a night. If you can get a night out for a fiver these days, I think you're doing pretty well.
Yeah, absolutely.
They can have, buy a few drinks, have a good time, and then obviously still win cash on the night plus the league qualification. Social clubs are usually have a slightly higher limit, and they usually can go up to sort of £250 in a night. And then any other venues where they've bought additional gambling licensing, and or they can have a private room in which they can close it up and have a members only game. They can usually do higher limits, but that would depend on their individual licensing. But again, we can have a chat with the venues and work out sort of what their licensing is, what they've got in place, and what sort of best games and formats are to do that. Which is part of the reason why, as part of our package, we do have this ongoing advice, because again, for venues that don't know much about poker or running like large scale tournaments, the format has to change quite a bit to suit the amount of players they get. So I thought one of the first things I always say to the venues is, what works when you first start running a tournament with sort of maybe like 10, 15 players won't work when you've got 30 players. It's not if they want to try and get out by 11 o'clock and stick with their normal sort of like cut-off times.
Yeah.
So again, that's another reason why we're around to say, right, okay, if you're getting 30 players, it's going on, maybe like 40 minutes longer than what it needs to. So, here's what you're going to do. You're going to cut your starting stats down, or you're going to change your blind timers, or all these different things that we know can sort of change the way a tournament flows throughout the night. Because obviously on a pub level, most venues they want to get this tournament wrapped up in a sort of 4-hour time frame. So they're started in the week around 7 o'clock, and they want to be done by 11 o'clock. And for the average venue, that's not usually a problem with a good starting stack and a decent structure that allows people to still feel like they're getting a game of poker without it going on forevermore. So
No, that's really good, mate. It's good. I'd say the whole thing sounds really exciting, and I'm really excited for you to start looking at this full time and throwing everything at it, mate. And I really do hope it goes well for you. And I'll certainly be advocating and sharing stuff on socials and bits like that. And just whilst I'm on that, where can everyone find you? What are the social the links? What are your tabs?
yeah, super. So obviously, website is royalsharkspoker.co.uk. Through there, you should be able to see become a member, where you can sign up to be a player, or there is a sign up your venue where you can put some information there. For venues, it's usually better if they get in touch, because depending on the weekday and stuff, we can get it all set up for them and talk to them about what's going to work best for them. On Instagram, obviously, always appreciate the follows. So that would be Royal Sharks. It's at Royal Sharks Poker. We are posting stuff on there fairly frequently, celebrating players' achievements, any new stuff that we've got coming up. And we're also, again, on Facebook, which is Royal Sharks Poker as well, where we sort of put up our special events, share any new venues that are signing up, and try and sort of help promote their new games. So reach out to any of those socials. We'll be happy to talk to you and help spread this as far as we can.
Brilliant. Well, Martyn, I'm conscious of time, and obviously you've just got back from holiday and you've jumped straight on this, so I really do appreciate you doing that, mate. At such short notice, because I only messaged you this morning as off the cuff, just to try and see if you could to join me. So thank you very much, mate. I really appreciate it, and best of luck. And I would like to kind of schedule in something again, maybe in 6 months' time, so we can check in and see how it's going full time potentially.
Yeah, that would be amazing. I appreciate you reaching out. It was getting straight back into it. Our holiday was good, and yeah, I'd love to have a catch up in sort of 6 months' time, see how it's grown, and what challenges and what we've come across, and yeah, where we're at in 6 months' time.
Absolutely, mate. Let's do it. Well, there we have it. Martyn Everitt from the Royal Sharks poker team. And as you could hear there, they are looking to expand and grow a new business and Martyn is now taking it on full time. So very exciting times for him. But of course, if you want to get yourself involved and you're thinking about perhaps opening your own venue, then reach out to Martyn, head over to the website, fill in the contact form, or contact him on Instagram, as he mentioned. Even if you're thinking about it and you just want a bit more advice and support, then I'm sure he'll be willing to give it to you. But for me now, it is the end of episode number 6. Thank you for joining. Thank you for listening. Appreciate all the love and support you've given. And I'm sure episode 7 will be out very, very soon. I'll see you in the next one.